What's up guys, it's me, Disco Dave, and today I'm going to be talking about my experience with the Switch 2. I've had it for almost over 2 weeks now, and I just want to talk about the pros and the Joy-Cons of the Switch 2. There's more pros than there is cons for sure, but I definitely want to talk about both sides of my experience with the Switch 2. And first, let's just talk about how this thing feels. I think this is an amazing sized handheld. I love the magnetic Joy-Cons way more than the OG slide-ons. It feels so good to slot them in. Somehow Nintendo did it. The way that the original Joy-Cons felt when you slide it down was a unique experience. We loved it at the time, but now this is just so much better. I love it when you attach it to the grip, even though I'm not using the grip. But this is just an amazing handheld. It feels so good in my hands. It feels so right. Going back to the original Switch, it feels so much smaller. It feels as nice. But this is an amazing, amazing handheld. I love it so much. I literally have not put it down since June 5th. It's really got me back into gaming. I had a little quiet period there, start of the year, but now I just can't put the thing down. And if we're going to talk about the handheld, we're also going to talk about this gorgeous, gorgeous screen. It's beautiful. Obviously, people wanted OLED. The Switch OLED is very pretty. But as someone who's not the most graphically aware person who can tell like pixels apart super well, this screen is gorgeous, like equally as beautiful as the PlayStation Portal I have. It's a gorgeous screen. I've been playing a lot more handheld than console, just because the ease of use. I like to just crash out on my sofa, play handheld for sure. But the one thing I will say about this screen, which will come into our first con of the Switch 2, scratches very, very easily. This is going to be a big warning for you. If you have a Switch 2 already, or you're going to get a Switch 2, you got to get a screen protector on straight away, which I did not do. This is the problem. Get yourself a screen protector. I'm telling you, when you get your Switch 2 out of the box, slap that screen protector on straight away. I've never had to put a screen protector on any of my handhelds, like DS's, 3DS's, even the original Switch. And we're talking on 24 hours in, there is just a scuff on the middle of the screen. I don't know how it appeared. My theory is when I was sliding in our dock, the dock scratched it, because apparently this protective film they have across the screen is just not doing anything. I got the case for my Switch 2 and it came with a screen protector, but I'm not someone to put screen protectors on my phone, so I kind of messed it up. So I was like, it's fine. I'll put the screen protector on later. And yeah, and before I was able to put my screen protector on that I bought, got a scuff on the screen, and now it's kind of super annoying. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. It's probably not going to come up on the screen too well. I kind of hear like a scuff right in the middle. My theory is either the dock scratched it, or when I was playing Welcome Tour, there was a game where I had to put like 10 fingers on the screen and you had to like hold them. Maybe I scratched it with like one of my fingers. I don't know. So I've talked to Nintendo about screen repairs. They are taking screen repairs, but they can't give me an estimate on price, how much it would be. I don't think it'd be super. I don't know. It's under warranty. I don't know how much it's going to be, and they can't give me an estimate until they see the screen itself. So once there's a quiet period when I'm playing, I might just send it off to Nintendo, then immediately put the screen protector on once it gets back, because there's no point putting it on now when I'm going to get a screen replacement. Apparently Nintendo is saying it takes about 10 working days to get the system sent out. Then your price, how much it would take to repair the screen, and either you confirm or deny. If you confirm, they go ahead. If you deny, they just send it back free of charge. So something I probably will do. It's not something I pay attention when I'm in the middle of gaming, or when I think about it, I stare at the scratch, and I can see more scratches coming up. So this screen protector is an absolute must, and it's probably my highest con of the Switch 2, that I can't just not have a screen protector and like just live in constant fear of scratching it even more. That's definitely a big con. So yeah, screen protector is a must for the Switch 2, which sucks. But let's talk about another pro of the Switch 2. how fast and everything is. The load times are so much better than the original Switch one. I was jumping into Mario Odyssey, Zelda. Obviously, the games look a lot better, but the load times are so much better too. Like, I was playing Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom for the first time, and I was watching videos about the loading times when you like jump between like fast travel points, and the Switch 2 is so much faster. Any game, especially Mario Kart World, start that game, I'm in there, press start, I'm in the free roam in like less than 5 seconds from me starting the game. It's crazy, and it's so nice to have, especially when you're bouncing from like a PS5 and you go into your Nintendo. You want your load times to be non-existent as it is on the console. Obviously, the PS5 definitely probably a lot better with the load times. But for what we have on a Nintendo system for a handheld, it's amazing. Just have those load times reduced a lot. Apparently, Smash Brothers Ultimate is a lot better too. Like when you go on the character select someone, boom, you're pretty much in a Smash battle already. So that's great to have. Super quick load times. Well done, Nintendo. But let's talk about another con. The battery life. The battery life, when you get out of the box, it's not going to be good. You're going to hear the beep beep beep. Battery's getting low quite a bit. So I have done the fixes Nintendo has suggested. One way of doing it is to go into like a factory reset mode, which just means you turn it off, you hold like the volume buttons, and when you turn it back on, we're going to like a factory reset mode. And that's all you need to do. Once you're in that mode, you turn it back on, off, turn it back on, and that should give a more accurate battery indicator. But the way to improve the battery overall is to charge the system to 100%, take like 3 or 4 hours, then leave it for an additional hour, and then you let the battery drain by leaving it on the home screen. So I've tried to do that. Obviously, I don't have how many hours, like 8-9 hours on my day to just focus on improving this battery. So what I would do, I would either like before bed fully charge it, set an alarm to take it off charge so I'm not overdoing the battery, and then when I'm in my next gaming session, get it down to basically 0, and then rinse and repeat. I wouldn't leave it on the home screen unless I would leave it overnight when I go into bed. But I've been gaming a lot, obviously, on the Switch too, so I would let the battery drain naturally. And it seems to improved it a bit for sure. So, because I've been playing a lot of Zelda, I would say from start to finish, I'd get like 3 hours for sure, but that's using the handheld with screen brightness all the way up. I have HDR on at the moment. Might have to turn that off because I don't know if I'm noticing that much, but I'll have it on for now. But for something like Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, I was getting like 3 hours, which is a good amount. And that's like a rough estimate. Because when I've been playing Zelda, I just get lost in it and the time kind of flies by. But I'll say a solid, at least like 3 hours I was getting from Zelda Echoes of Wisdom for sure. And Mario Kart, probably more like maybe 2.5 to 3 hours. But that's just a rough estimate of mine. I've not like put a timer on or anything. So the battery life, not the best. Obviously, the more iterations we get of Switch 2, I'm sure they're going to improve the battery life. But the one we have for now, it will do. You know what I mean? For like those plane flights, if you bring a charger, if you're playing on your commute to work, just be mindful. This is the battery life you're going to get. It's not going to last you 4, 5, 6 hours like you probably want, but that's the price of getting a very fancy handheld. Let's talk about another pro. Let's talk about the games experience. I'm going to do a separate video probably for Mario Kart World Welcome Tour for sure. But just for the games experience, especially those enhanced Switch 1 games, they're so great. As I've been talking about, I've been playing, started Echoes of Wisdom for the first time on Switch 2. I don't know what, I wanted to play on stream, but then it got to like months later, and then I saw it was going to be a day 1 Switch 2 enhanced, so I thought this is the perfect time for me to jump in, and I played it from start to finish. I've now beat Echoes of Wisdom, and it was such a great experience playing on the Switch 2. I'm glad I waited to have that and didn't have these frame rate issues people were having with the original game, and they updated the game to have when you have your echoes, you have to like scroll super fast, and then they added a favorite system just in time for this. So I played Echoes of Wisdom at the perfect time, and I loved it. I jumped into ARMS, I jumped in Splatoon 3 because I got an update, played Odyssey, played Tears of the Kingdom, all of them looking super great, load times are improved. It's such a nice feature to have this, your catalog of Switch 1 games are now automatically there when you're playing on Switch 2, and obviously some are getting big upgrades than others. Obviously we're getting Mario Party Jamboree and Kirby in the next couple of months. If you have Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, day one, if you got the Switch Online expansion pack, I think you need, it's a free upgrade, so you just get better versions of the best Switch games. Day one, free. Tears of the Kingdom runs amazingly, looks better. I'm not a frame rate guy, so I'm like, I can't really tell unless like they're side by side, but the game looks better, runs better, so that's great to have. And the fact that a lot of Switch 1 titles were upgraded day one, super, super great. Thank you, Nintendo. That's what I love, is making me go back in my back catalog of Switch 1 games while bouncing between that. I'll go bounce between like Mario Kart World and Switch 1 games I didn't get a chance to play or just have this backlog. So that's great to have whilst we're waiting for these big titles to come out every month. You can come back into your Switch 1 catalog and play the games you didn't get around to. Let's go into another con. The uniqueness of the UI. So this is a big thing about it being a sequel to Switch, is that it's great. You're going to keep the form factor of it, but we're losing that like new hardware feel. The jump between like a GameCube to the Wii or like the Wii U to Switch is a big generational leap. It's a new UI. The things that you'll figure it out, and then for this console, if you have a Switch, you know exactly how to navigate the UI for Switch 2. The layout is pretty much the same. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like that newness. When I'm going through my system settings, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just on my Switch. But it's better, you know what I mean? Like this is just the Switch UI. So that uniqueness, the fact that they didn't add any music to it, except for like when you first boot up, there's some music, but like you're not gonna get that Wii Shop channel iconic music. You know what I mean? So that even like the start sounds, or like the GameCube, that Nintendo magic, like the 3DS, the Street Pass games, that like the Picto Chat, like things like this, apps, fun, unique things that the 3DS nailed, Wii U kind of nailed with Miiverse, you know, that social thing, you know, that uniqueness in apps. The Switch 2 didn't have that, and I feel like that could have been a super easy win. Differentiate yourself from Switch 1. Like Switch 1 didn't have it, and now it was like a, you know, they were trying to get away from the Wii U, so Switch was like a step down in just it was more simplistic, you know, there's more focus. It's just these are the games, we are Nintendo, these are our games. I feel like for Switch 2, keep that, and you can keep the UI similar, but just add the flourish. Like you had time, you had a whole 8-year generation to have that. Yeah, we're focused on games, but now Switch 2, add that flourish, add that Shazam, you know what I mean? You know, Welcome Tour could have been something like that, but obviously you have to pay for that. That could have been an easy win. I think Street Pass would be a good addition to this, but it doesn't, and it doesn't have that music that you want to listen to. But and also, whilst we're on the cons, let's talk about the themes. We still just have white or black, and we're like, how do you not even just have the option of just any color, just like black, white, and then pick a color and you just go on a color wheel? That's your theme, you know. That would give everyone a unique look to their home screen, and then obviously add themes later. But I'm like, are they ever gonna do it? Is it just something they don't care about? I don't know. Like we had 8 years, and these were like very high points of things like, oh, things I want for Switch 1, which are super easy things to fix. You know, they had them, they can charge for them. People want them. You just have to watch one video on YouTube, be like, things I want for Switch 1, themes, folders, you know? We still don't have that. We just don't have folders on the main screen. You know what I mean? We still don't have those things. So I don't know if we get that later on in Switch generation. I think if it ever does come, that's a big celebration point in Direct, which is a weird one to celebrate about. But those are all my cons for the Switch 2 I can think about. Let's get back into the pros. GameCube. Having GameCube games is so cool. I've not jumped into them too much because I've been playing other things. But I jumped into F-Zero GX for the first time. That game fucking rocks. Someone's been playing Fast Fusion, one of the launch titles for Switch 2. Now I played a bit of F-Zero 99, seen gameplay. You know, I understood the Fast series from Shinin was inspired by F-Zero, but playing F-Zero GX, I'm like, oh, I more correlate Fast Fusion is just F-Zero GX, but modern. I don't know why Nintendo hasn't given Shinin the opportunity to make an F-Zero game. Clearly, they just replicated F-Zero. But F-Zero GX is super fun. It's got a widescreen mode as well. So playing that, the GameCube controller feels absolutely amazing. Exactly the same feel and look of the original GameCube controllers. But it's so nice just to have this to play GameCube games on, and you can just use it for any other Switch 2 games. I'll be playing it for Mario Kart World for a bit, because why not? It's giving me Double Dash vibes. But yeah, GameCube's really great. I jumped into Wind Waker just for like 2 seconds just to see how it looked, how it ran. I played it on Wii U, so if I was going to play Wind Waker, I'd want to play the Wii U version. Nintendo, bring it to Switch 2. Come on, what are we waiting for? But maybe they won't, because now it's on Nintendo GameCube Nintendo Classics. I'm just reading on the home screen, that's what they officially call it. And we're just going to get more titles down the line. We got rumors that Pokemon Colosseum might drop next month. They demoed Mario Strikers at the event, so I'm sure that's soon. But we finally got GameCube, and I'm sure we're going to get this nice rollout for the next coming months and years to come. Another pro I'm going to say is, let's talk about game chat. I've used game chat once. A lot of my friends don't have Switch 2s or in that like Switch ecosystem where I play them. So I got to play with one of my viewers on stream, which tested out the game chat, tested out the camera. I didn't buy the Nintendo Switch camera, but you can just use any other webcam. Like the webcam I use for streams, I just plugged it into the dock and it worked perfectly fine, worked straight away. And it's a really cool feature that you can just use any USB camera you want, and you can just use them in games and game chat. And then they didn't have to do that. They could be like, oh no, we're just going to do the ones that we've partnered with and our own camera. You can just use any camera you want. And apparently you can do the same with your microphones. I didn't try that out. I'm sure maybe if I plugged into this microphone, it probably would work. That's super cool. And I got to use the camera in Welcome Tour as well, which is really fun. You have to like do different expressions on your face. That's super cool. You can use your own stuff with the Switch 2 and it works seamlessly. And that's just a overall thing with the Switch 2. Like everything is fast, connects super quickly. Everything seems to work. Like when I connect the GameCube controller or new pair of Joy-Cons, the Pro controller, it's like boom, yeah, done. It's not like this long syncing process, but like we had like in the Wii days. I'm trying to pressing the button 1,000 times. So it's like waiting for it to connect. This is just super fast. Everything connects. Everything works. It's really smooth. It's a really cool experience. Just having everything running super well. And my final point, big pro, the Switch 2 just made me fall back in love with honestly, I don't know how to word it. Back in love with gaming, or just back to like gaming daily. Like I go through spells of like, maybe you have it too where you game a lot and then you just go through dry spells of like, oh, I don't want to play a video game today. Like, oh, I don't want to start this game. And it becomes like a mental block. The Switch 2, I'm back into playing Switch games. Can't wait for any Switch 2 games that come out. I just can't put it down. Literally, it's just like, what do I want to do? Oh, I'm going to play some Switch. And it's so easy, like, because it's so fast to like jump in, like, oh, let me just jump into Mario Kart World. Let me jump into open world. Maybe do some collectibles. Zelda, let me jump in. Let me do a little dungeon here. Oh, let me explore this area. And obviously, that's the perks of having it handheld. Definitely been more handheld than console with Switch 2, which was like that with the original Switch. With the Switch 1, I was more 50-50 console handheld, but now definitely more handheld. That's just a preference. Like when I get home from work, I just want to chill on the sofa, not sit at my desk and stare on the screen. That's just a preference of mine. But definitely for the bigger Switch 2 games, I'm probably gonna be more likely to play on the big screen because it's like a big screen new game experience. But for Switch 1 games in my back catalog, I'm like, let me play these handheld and just like finally get to play these games. But Switch 2, highly recommend. Obviously, there are the cons: battery life, screen, screen protector. The uniqueness and the feel is very Switch 1, which is not a bad thing, but I kind of want that more of a Nintendo charm to come out, especially when they're the top dogs right now. Act like the top dog, like, oh, we got all these fun features. Obviously that can come in time, or maybe it's just not a priority for them and they got different things to prioritize. But those are the only cons I can think of. I love the Switch 2. I think this is going to serve us very well for the next 7-8 years like Switch 1 did. And the game lineup this year seems to be on fire. We've got Mario Kart World. It's a great game. I'll go into that more in depth in the next video. Donkey Kong Banana looks amazing. We just had that direct. We got Kirby Air Riders. We got, or even Kirby and Forgotten Land DLC. I'm super excited for. Hyrule Warriors. We got Pokemon. We got Metroid. That's the things we know about. Apparently, Animal Crossing might be announced soon. Rumor. I'm sure we're gonna get a direct soon. Maybe announce maybe a couple more things for the holiday. We don't know. And then 2026, we have no idea. With Tomb Raiders announced as well. Like, what is going on? Nintendo is firing on all cylinders, and I'm so glad I got the Switch 2 day one, and I'm having so much fun with it. Put in the comments below, have you got a Switch 2? Are you going to buy a Switch 2? What's your experience with the Switch 2 if you do have it? I want to hear your pros and your Joy-Cons in the comments below. If you liked this video, you made it to the end, please hit the like button, please subscribe. This is me, Disco Dave. Got lots more Nintendo content coming up. Can't stop playing this thing, and I love streaming and sharing the experience with you guys. But this is the video for today. Thanks so much for watching. I'm gonna peace out. Have a good day. Bye. Yeah.